Peyton Manning has torn plantar fasciitis in his right foot. According to league sources telling ESPN, Manning was battling plantar fasciitis, and it worsened. Let's bring in Tony Dungy from Football Night in America. Tony, does that explain Peyton Manning being so bad yesterday?
Well, I thought it was something, Dan. As I was watching, as we mentioned on the show last night, it was just painful for me to watch it because I saw throws that were there that should have been easy throws, and for him to go 5 for 20, it just wasn't what I was seeing. Early in the year, I thought I saw some indecision, maybe not knowing where receivers were going to go, off-target throws because of that. But these were balls that just should have been completed that weren't close. So I felt it was something, and it as I say, it was just hard to watch.
But if he has an injury, now it's on his right foot, so his back foot. We've seen these footballs just float here, Tony, all season long. So is it just? I'm surprised that this comes out now when it feels like maybe he's had this all season. I don't know, but how does Gary Kubiak put him out there?
I don't know. And sometimes, you haven't practiced as much, and they were talking about ribs and different things. And I've had that happen before with guys. Derek Brooks played a game for me when I was in Tampa, and we tried to go without practicing because he's such a great player and he wanted to go. And I realized it was a mistake. So that could happen sometimes. Hey, he tells you, I'm good to go, let me try it. But what I saw yesterday was not similar to what we saw in the earlier games, even when people were complaining about arm strength, just inaccuracy, throws that were off target, throws that, and you could see by the end of the game, Kansas City had no respect for anything over 15 yards. They were just sitting down on routes, jumping all those balls, getting interceptions. So they saw it too. It was much different than what we'd seen earlier on.
All right, if you're Gary Kubiak today, what's your game plan this week for the Chicago Bears at quarterback?
I think my game plan is to sit Peyton Manning, let him get healthy, play Osweiler, let him get all the reps, and try to win a game against the Bears with Brock Osweiler, and then evaluate and see where Peyton is. But I think you're going to have to throw and show me that you can throw during the week and that you're healed up and ready to go.
What if Osweiler plays well?
Well, then you've got a decision to make at that point. I think Gary has made the point, though, that when Peyton is healthy, he's going to play. Now, the caveat is when is he healthy and when can he show you that he can throw the ball like it needs to be thrown. And you certainly don't want a repeat of what happened yesterday.
Healthy and old are two different things, though, Tony.
Well, I think we've seen older, and older you could still win games. They won some games with older, and it was ugly, yes, but you can't have 4 interception days. And what happened yesterday, it was just he couldn't get balls where you need to get them, and the defense knew it. So that you can't send them out there like that.
I know we've had these conversations, and I seem to ask you probably more than I should, but and I've said this, early in the season, I just can't see Peyton playing. Like he won't play next year if he plays like this. Even if he's healthy, he's not playing. I just can't see it. But I don't know. Are you resigned to that fact now?
You're right. No, I agree with it. And I think yesterday showed him that he can't play at whatever percentage he was, 75 or 80 or 85 or 90%. He's not going to want to go out there and be the cause of them losing games. So I promise you, the next time he goes out there, he'll be ready to go.
All right. Is there a chance, though, with this injury, plantar fascia, that he could be out for the rest of the season? I don't know the injury.
Well, he could be out a long time. We had Jaquez Green is the only player that I know that had it. He had it when he played for me in Tampa, and he was a guy who could run 4.3, and it took him a long time to get over it. Bothered him for most of the year that he had it. So I've seen this injury really be debilitating, if that, in fact, is what it is.
He's Tony Dungy from Football Night in America, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Explain to me where Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are right now.
They are struggling because the thing that they could always do is not there anymore. And Denver kind of exposed it. They were always able to say, if you line up and get in our face, we've got one guy that you're going to struggle covering. And then that had a domino effect. You couldn't cover Jordy Nelson. You had to give help there, so you did other things. Well, now people are saying, I'm going to box Aaron Rodgers in the pocket, not let him out, and I'm going to bump and run all these guys. And you'll hit some, but you won't hit enough to consistently move the ball. And we've seen it now for 3 weeks. Teams that don't even do that, that's not Detroit style, and they don't have those type of corners. And they played bump and run all day yesterday, and Green Bay couldn't really hurt them. So this has got to be a concern for Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, they can't run the football, but, I mean, this is Aaron Rodgers. You should be able to put up 28, 35 points against Detroit at home, Tone.
Absolutely. He's always done that. He's never thrown interceptions at home, and he's always made the big plays. But now you've got a situation where they're starting to doubt themselves, and everybody is saying until you beat this style of play, that's what you're going to see. And we're seeing the incompletions, instead of the nice back shoulders that end up being 25-yard gains, they're just off and incomplete, and they're punting the ball. So they're going to have to make some big plays against this press coverage and get people off them, and it's going to have to start quick, or they're going to be in a downturn.
Was that the correct call on Odell Beckham Jr., the non-touchdown call?
Well, I don't know what it is anymore, Dan. We had Golden Tate about 3 weeks ago in Detroit where they beat the Bears. It was the same play. And we said that's not a completed pass, and the league office said, well, no, it was complete because he had possession with both feet down, and once you're in the end zone, it's a touchdown. Beckham's play was the same play as Golden Tate's, and it's called differently. So I'm not sure where the league office is with catch, no catch. In my mind, none of them are catches. But how do you give Tate a touchdown and then don't give Beckham a touchdown? It just doesn't make sense.
But they've gone down this rabbit hole, Tony, and they can't get back out because 10 years ago, that's a touchdown. We're not even taking a second look at it. We don't even need to take a second look at it.
I know, and this whole thing about going to the ground and hitting the ground. So now if you hit the ground, it's not a catch. But if you stay up, it's a catch. But if you stay up in the field of play, it's an incomplete pass because we don't want to fumble, but the end zone is different because it's automatically there's just too many exceptions, and I don't know how the officials can keep it straight. Apparently they aren't.
No, they're not, because Chris Collinsworth said last night, I get paid to do this, and I don't know what a catch is, and he's a former NFL wide receiver, Tony. It's bad when the fans, coaches, everybody, even the officials, when you call the same thing differently, you can't have that. In some ways, the league's got to have a primer on this and make sure that everybody, including their officials, can say this is a catch, this is not a catch. Safe travels, Tone. I'll see you next weekend.
All right. Sounds good, bud. Looking forward to it.
All right, Tony Dungy, Football Night in America.